Okie dokie, good afternoon. Welcome to the Monday edition of Hard Facts. I hope you had a pleasant weekend. You had time to rest. There's a guy doing some work for me at the house, and I said, oh yeah, you know what? I had company on Sunday. I would have called you to finish this. He said, no, you know what? I've decided I'm not going to chase money to the detriment of my health. I've decided I would take a day and completely just disconnect from work and rest. He does, all of this artisan, carpentry and all of that. And then he's always working around the clock before. And I don't know how he got the epiphany that health is wealth and decided that Sunday he was going to do that. I had a smile on my face like, that's a new man, new you.
For someone, an artisan in Nigeria, current Nigeria, to get to that position, something drove him there.
I tell you.
If you ask him, he will confess.
I tell you.
Something, perhaps the guy hit the hospital bed. I was there for a while.
He said, no, auntie, I've come to a point where I realize I need to take a day off and rest. He's always walking around the clock, like bright and early they are up. Late at night, they're still doing some drilling and carpentry and trying to meet deadline. But then he's also learned to draw the lines, saying that I needed time to rest. So I hope you had at least some time during the weekend to rest. You're recharged, you're invigorated, you're strengthened to give your 100 this week. And I trust Nigeria Info now. Yes, not because I work here, but I trust Nigeria Info. You've just had a good start to your Monday if you started your Monday with us. From the Morning Crossfire Show, What's Happening Abuja, and the Sunnyside Show. It's been fantastic, yes? Say yes. Good. Thank you now for joining us for Hard Facts. My name is Kimberly. Wachkukomi Kim, the Oracle, the Digital Oracle, OTF, the Fellow, Chanya One, Madam Speaker. And I'll say yes.
What's the meaning of OTF?
Okay, I think it was you, Sani. Oracle, the Fellow.
Oracle, the Fellow.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you say?
It was not what I said.
What did you do?
I think it was after I got a fellowship from the World Yinka Center for Investigative Journalism.
Oh.
So because I already go by Digital Oracle, the guy just felt like you can't just say fellow or oracle, He had to merge oracle the fellow, and then reduced it to OTF, and it kind of stuck.
All right. That's nice.
And then there are a few other people who have been trying to add to it, are like, hey. Monetize it. Nobody should give me a new name. Send it as money.
There's a way that
because one comes every day and they tell you the speaker of the world are like it's growing on me. I can monetize it.
There's a way that you have so many names. They will think that you have some bitty somewhere.
I know.
They're not knowing that.
That's why when people say,
Madam,
happy weekend, I say, I just named them.
My name is Gabriel Spector, and it's a delight.
How was your weekend, Gabriel?
It was good. Eventually, there's an end to the house hunts.
Yeah, I heard you was a Saturday or Sunday. You were talking the whole of Abuja. You had to formally tell them you're house hunting, and I'm glad that we're getting.
Yes, I had to because I was trying to wrap my head. I know you've abused me several times. That I just think I can whiz in and out of Lagos and Abuja and think that I'll meet everything.
It's a drive, but it's not an insult. But you know what? Dude left Abuja in 2020, and then he had the mentality, I don't know, thinking Abuja of 2020 still the same Abuja post subsidy is gone.
But you cannot expect me to start thinking that they'll be telling me I'll pay 25% for agency and legal fee.
Who is saying 25%? 20% agency and
25.
Legal. But then the new one is inspection fee 10,000 naira. Then they will now take you to a place that I'm getting emotional because I went down that road some time back.
This one swallowed my 7K. Took me to this house. I'm not sure the shape of is it a hexagon or a pentagon. I'm not sure the shape of the flat. Like when you get a piece of land, and then you are in dispute with your neighbor. So it's like the court divided the plot of land or something.
Yeah.
So everything is jaga. You
have not even seen the one they would demarcate a house with plywood, and then they will tell you that, and you tell them specifically, I'm not looking for a sublet or stuff.
It's crazy. I had to tell the guy. So you said I'm paying you 10K, and this is where you bring me to. I can't give you 10K. The guy said, okay, bros, wait till you get. And then I gave him 7K. And my wife should have given him 5. I said, yeah, I should have given him 5K.
Mm-hmm.
swallowed my 5K, 7K. But then, I mean, it's come to an end, and I'm really glad.
Congratulations! I'm
Thank
happy
you,
for it
thank
because
you,
I
thank
know
you.
the two things that can rough you up in this city:
Come on.
accommodation and movement.
Come
if you're not
on.
mobile, it's crazy.
Both
moving around Abuja.
kind of sorted.
Yeah, both kind of sorted. Then you're good.
I'm
You're good.
excited.
All right, happy for you then. And just so you know, more than 70% of Lagos residents remain tenant, with a significant portion of their income, between 40 to 60%, going towards rent. That's according to the latest State of Lagos Housing Market Report, which sheds light on the deepening housing crisis in Africa's largest city, which is Lagos. The report reveals that rental pressure is more severe in affluent neighborhoods such as Lekki, that is always flooded. I don't know what the appeal is, but hey, it is what it is.
Go on, fire down.
Ikoyi, Victoria Island, where property value and luxury apartment costs continue to rise despite broader economic headwinds. So, commissioned by the Roland Ibinoba Rail Foundation for Housing and Urban Development, the third edition of the biannual report paints a complex picture of Lagos real estate market. So they say between 40 to 60% of their income go into rent. You can just imagine 60% of your annual income going into rent. So by the time you're done with your movement, transportation to and fro, work, feeding and all of that, you literally do not have any penny. You might even be in debt.
Yes.
And this is just for Lagos. I wonder if this Roland Ibinoba Rail Foundation decide to come to Abuja and do a survey, you find almost the same case or even worse going on here.
I'm so for Lagos in particular, I do know that it is a few months ago, I'm not sure now, I think February or March, there was a protest in Lagos as regards rental. As a matter of fact, also this year, I'm not sure the month, there were conversations about, what you might call it now? Tenants
Lagos in particular.
Tenants paying at the end of every month.
That's the latest that the government wants
monthly
to
payment,
implement
Lagos State government, just so that
for small income earners at certain areas.
Exactly.
I mean, it doesn't apply to people who stay in some high end.
I'm not sure if that law particularly picks a category of people.
I think the commissioner was trying to paint the picture like, okay, this is what we're going to apply, but more especially for people who earn like on the go daily and all that. It would be unfair.
They would be the biggest beneficiaries. What I think, I think that Lagos State government would do is put a cap to how much should be paid for this type of house in this type of area. That's what I thought that they would have done. Yes, that would also alleviate to some, because, hey, at the end of the day, if it says someone should pay monthly.
To say if you're renting a one bedroom we say it shouldn't be more than that.
Exactly.
But it already happened, except you're saying the government should deliberately say, reduce it or don't increase it beyond this until maybe after 5 years.
That's
like
what
in the
I'm
neighborhood
saying.
where I stay, it feels like if you go around, a certain standard has almost the same range.
Correct. Because they have association.
And then I think they also know when they meet, either from the WhatsApp group or gathering, and decide it's time for us to increase rent.
Definitely.
And then it goes, it just happens all at once.
Definitely. There's an association. Once you buy a property, a land, and you begin to build, you are drafted into the association because they sort of have the same voice. But I thought that Lagos State government would wade in terms of pricing. This is where the problem is. It's not even payment. The problem, according to this report, and I do not think the report is untrue or incorrect, because pricing is the problem. Kim, you will go to some areas in this same Lagos State, on the island. So if you're going towards Haja from VI, on the right, you've got, certain areas like Jakonde, for example, on the right. These guys are closer to the seashore.
Yeah.
10 minutes rain, Kim, I promise you will need a canoe to move around in these places. And you go there, you are asking for a self-contained, just a room without a living room. It's got a kitchen, and they're telling you to pay 1.5 million naira annually. 2 million naira.
You've not seen what security posts are going for, even in the federal capital. You're talking Lagos, and I'm telling you, you've been house hunting, and I'm sure you visited some areas.
I have.
Did you not? Were you not forced to change the location when you wanted to? It's like, Gabriel came like a macho man from Lagos, arrived at Abuja, and started pinpointing certain areas. I said, man,
please,
is it here you're working that you want to end?
Please,
I believed in you strongly.
I believe
But
in
when
myself.
you started, your coordinates started changing, I say, yes, this guy don't calibrate.
Oh my God, you're making me emotional.
I'm sorry. You will get there eventually.
But I mean, you can't blame a man for dreaming. They say eyebrow area. Shit, my head forbid eyebrow.
They get two head where they live there.
Come on. Not to know that, I was only.
Get that.
I was a jester. I was jesting. I apologize, Abuja. Now I've caught the memo and I've adjusted accordingly. So I was flung.
Now you're officially welcome.
I was flung to one part of the city, but it's fine. I mean, the map says I'm not more than 24 minutes away from my place of work. So I mean,
you're still in town, I promise you. Oh boy. All right. Now that we have that out of the way, let's get right into business. But yes, housing is one of the stories, and it is a big one. We don't talk about it enough, the challenge that people go through.
Indeed.
I mean, you look at the average, what do people earn in the federal capital? And then if you think of what you have to spend on accommodation, on feeding, on transportation, it's insane.
What makes the report, Kim, what makes the report preposterous is standardly as a family, you shouldn't be spending more than 30% of your annual income
on rent. I've heard that before. I mean, it felt like that's what they keep saying. But is it really realistic in this present time?
Of course it isn't.
What do you do that 30% can cover as rent? Except perhaps you have like a big business you're doing, you're high up there. You do not fall within middle class or lower class. You're like high up there. Mm-hmm. That's when you can confidently say even 5% or 1% can do that because you already have a house. Some people have houses, so they don't do all of this percentile with us on your income going into all of that. They have more than enough.
Yeah.
But then the people who have to start doing this so percent of you already know the tax bracket where they sit.
And I agree with you, but the problem...
How much do you earn that 30% will cover annual rent here? Except you want to really live, if you don't have family. But if you live by yourself. But if you have family, you're going to like cramp yourself in a space.
Standardly, whatever it is that you earn annually, 30% of it should be able to cover your annual rent. So
that's what I'm saying. Do you know what the average rent is in the federal capital? If you want to stay at least
within city center,
further away, 20, 25 minutes away or 30 minutes.
Yeah, you probably should be earning like 10 million.
That's what I'm saying. Annually? What's 30? I mean, you want to get a room now. They're telling you 1 million plus. Mm-hmm. So if you're looking at the 30%, and how much do you have to earn per month for 30% to cut it if you're going to use that?
Should be earning, say, 600, 700?
Enter the street with your mic and midget tomorrow and find out the number of people. Let's leave that matter. All right. We've been told by Recon officer to go on a quick break. Let's take that moment now, and then we'll be back with more. Stay with 95.1 Nigeria Info.
The MTN Mega Billion Pro.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. 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 Nigeria Info.
Well, let's let's continue our conversation. It's the big three, and Natasha is to resume Senate by Tuesday after court ruling. That is, if the ruling is communicated to the House early enough. The suspended senator representing Kogi Central, Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, stated that she would resume legislative duties in the Senate on Tuesday, following a court order directing her recall to the Red Chamber. The lawmaker disclosed this in a video shared on social media, with Sarah training on Sunday, thanked her supporter for standing with her, and did say she'll be resuming by Tuesday. Her comment followed Friday's judgment by Federal High Court sitting in Abuja, which declared her 6-month suspension from the Senate as unconstitutional, excessive, and a violation of her constituents' right to representation. And Justice Binta Nyako, who presided over the matter, ruled that the suspension lacked constitutional backing and ordered the immediate reinstatement of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. The court, however, found the senator guilty of contempt for a Facebook post described as a satirical apology addressed to Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Remember that? We did talk about it, didn't we? All right, so she's saying Tuesday it is. However, we'll see if the notice gets to them early enough for that to happen. Let's go on a quick break.
The MTN Mega Billion.
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I'm the host of Hard Facts, and I bring you the biggest stories driving conversation every weekday here on 95.1 Nigeria Info Hard Fact Show. I love to get your opinion and conjectures, but the facts you cannot dispute here on Hard Facts. Join me and let's talk. Delivered on the 4th of July 2025. In a statement on Sunday, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Daramodu, confirmed that although the Senate legal team was present in court, the full judgment was not read in one open session, and said a formal application has been filed to obtain the CTC for proper legal interpretation. And pending receipt and examination of the CTC and acting on the advice of the Council, the Senate shall refrain from taking any steps that may prejudice its legal position, he said. And further stress that as no party in the suit had yet been served the enrolled order of the judgment, no enforcement could lawfully proceed. So Natasha is telling us, the general public, that I will resume on Tuesday following the court ruling. And then we're getting here saying, well, we have not received the certified true copy yet. And until we said, even though they had their legal advisor in court, they said everything wasn't read in one sitting. But we all heard it. He made the news, and I'm sure he knows and all of that. But they want to see the certified true copy before they admit her in. And knowing Natasha also, Senator Natasha does have a penchant for, being assertive, and it's hard dramatic also. I'm a little curious on how it's going to play out if they don't get a CTC. By Tuesday, she's going to badge her way there and say, you know what, that's what the court said. I don't care if you have it or not. I'm going to be here and I'm going to sit on my seat.
I like to think that she will tread with caution. I would like to think so, because if nothing, I'm trying to be in her head right now. If she hasn't learned anything from all of these saga, is the fact that this is Nigeria. And unfortunately, Kim, in Thailand last week, there was the Prime Minister of Thailand had a conversation with someone in another country, a neighboring country, and it was basis for the Prime Minister, which was a lady, by the way, to be unsat from the office. All right? So we are in a country where heavy allegation can be made towards, officers in public office and all of it. And you don't get to see a lot of willingness on their part. Nobody's even asking that, okay, unseat this person or suspend this person, be it the Senate president or not. But there's no willingness from the office of that, the authority of that office, to say that, you know what, this office is beyond the person in it. There's an allegation. This person is willing to cooperate to see that there's investigation is being made. So that's the kind of country we are in. If she hasn't learned that lesson by now, I wonder when she's going to learn it. Now, I hope that she's going to be careful, allow the Senate to get this the original copy, and for the people that she represents quietly get back. I know it sounds like she's being subdued or whatnot, but again, I'm just about...
I think I get where you're headed with this, as to don't continue the fight unnecessarily.
Exactly.
Get back and then get on.
Just get to work
with your responsibility as a representative of a constituent or a senatorial district, that is. But then, you put it that way, you say their lawyers were there. And how long does it take for whatever certified true copy or whatever notification that is required to get to them, enough for them to admit her into the Senate? I mean, are we saying we're a country where a ruling will be given on Friday and then you need like 17 or 21 working days, like when you go for a complaint to the bank? How much time do you need to transmit certain thing and say, okay, this is the position of the court, allow her there? Because if we're going to do that, I mean, I would expect that whatever move, if they're saying by the weekend that they would need to see it by today, all effort will be made to ensure that it is presented to them. And then the next seating, that she'll be there. Instead of the court saying by Friday, and then we're waiting for, a whole week before it's transmitted. I mean, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
If it was given on Friday, it's news already. I can understand for documentation process. You want all of that on your table and properly interpret it. But 24 hours should be enough for you to get that. We're talking about legislators here. Shouldn't waste time.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Kim. Fowles, the bad guy, sang a song. It's titled "This Is Nigeria." This is Nigeria, where a state is ravaged by gunmen, wipe out people in a community. No state of emergency. Another state is having political unrest.
There's a state of emergency.
State of emergency. This is Nigeria.
Things turn on its head. I know. It doesn't make sense. But we expect that this will be communicated to them before the need for the next sitting, so that she would be represented there.
Should it not happen, already I see a pattern of provocation. Willingness to, ruffle this person's feather. That's why I say, I hope, now that we've gotten here, thank God, I hope she would tread with caution, she would apply wisdom, and just get back to office. I don't know
about the treading with caution. Yes, wisdom in all that you do is required. But for you to say to walk on eggshell around, to just massage certain egos that she shared the same level and the same office with, is problematic.
Isn't that the problem that got us here in the first place? Isn't that the problem?
It's not a problem. It's an assertion of one's right. You got suspension. Someone was crying foul over the budget that was padded, and people thought, oh, you're the hero in this story. He ended up as the villain. Wasn't he suspended? They said, oh, why would you be telling people they padded the budget? If you're putting that story in today, who would you say served the people's interest more? The man who was admitting to you that this budget is problematic. They were inflating figures and all whatnot. And the people who said you shouldn't have been too loud and then sent him out suspended. Suspension does not necessarily always mean that the person who was suspended was outrightly... You could have flaunted. Natasha flaunted certain procedures.
Right.
In not going to the Ethics and Privileges Committee.
Right.
Quite agreed. But at the end of the day, you can interpret it in so many ways. It will happen the way it happened. Representation didn't happen for 6 months. But, I mean, a statement has been made by this.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who agrees or not. I mean, Natasha is one that people will be wary of. They be like, let's just leave her alone. This woman is a force and going to be reckoned with at the end of the day.
So what I'm actually saying here is this.
So to put her in this position is to say, oh, till the end of her tenure, be careful so that they don't suspend you again. I don't want anybody to feel like you're threatened by your actions. Yes, your actions and inactions can be a problem.
Yeah.
But then it puts her in a place, even as a senator who represent constituency to always say, don't get into another trouble. It just feels like she came up with an allegation that nobody's interrogating this very minute. We're just looking at all the other things she didn't do right, but the allegation itself has not been treated.
Kim,
that's the problem.
You're making my point.
I was not making your point. Your point was saying her to be extra careful, as if she had no right to take that position in the first instance.
No, she has every right. Every right. You said it exactly just now, that the fact that there was an allegation, and right now, the office of the person accused isn't doing, because the person there is not as big as the office. The person there will leave after his or her tenure is over. Somebody else will come into the office. So that allegation is towards the office the person represents.
Yeah.
So that office should be able to say, you know what, this person who is occupying this office and this is right now is going to cooperate with the investigation to resolve this matter. But nothing like that has happened. And then it led to different back and forth, and now we are here. So what I'm trying to say here is this, that a point has been made. I'm very sure within her heart, she knows that at this point in time, the way the country is not a country where people are pointed at that there is an allegation against you, and the person will say, you know what, let me step away. Let me step away so that investigation can go on. If my name is cleared, I'll come back. That's not the country we are in.
It's a dog-eat-dog world. And so everybody fights as dirty as they can.
Exactly.
And it just feels like, sometimes we can have double standard and feel like, women, you should be more quiet, shouldn't be heard, your voice shouldn't be too loud. I mean, Otom was screaming at the top of his lungs when they were killing people in Benue. And then people felt you were screaming too long. Is it not just less than 100 people they kill? Why are you shouting too much as if you're the first that they're killing in your town? Some section of the country treated him like a villain. And then somebody else came and they're killing. I said, this man is not active enough. They're killing people in your state. Yes, father. You're not
in the same Benue state.
And I'm thinking, one man was shouted, so you can already tell who screams the loudest. Depends on what side of the fence they are on.
Yeah.
Politically, everything is politicized. It almost looks very difficult to you to tell right from wrong in Nigeria, because the people that you expect to know better will be screaming just because it favors their interest and all of that, and it confuses you.
It does. It does.
I have just since realized that Nigeria, you need some level, just a little sprinkle of madness to address things in this country. Just a touch of it.
Very correct.
You need to really do something unconventional.
Very correct. Very correct. And that is why I sincerely think that the kind of weight that she has pulled, it's clear that she can pull, also has earned us some respect. At the same time, she would have to merge it with wisdom. Going forward.
Don't we all need wisdom?
We all do.
Exactly. We do. And then that's the wisdom perhaps we should also apply, or maybe not, when it comes to BRICS. Because, see, it's on. Brazil is hosting, the group of countries who make up the BRICS and the partners. And, Nigeria, for a long time, we wanted to hang with the cool kids.
Yeah.
So we're part of it as partners. And our president and our country is ably represented there. Even our very own daughter of the soil. We love to claim, even though she's part Nigerian, part American, Konjo-Iweala.
She's full Nigerian.
Yeah, she's full Nigerian with an American citizenship, dual citizenship. The Director General of the World Trade Organization says Nigeria successfully bid for the Women Exporter and the Digital Economy Fund. And she put out this statement on X. The WTO chief congratulated Nigeria for the successful bid during the meeting with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the sideline of the ongoing 17th BRICS Summit in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And she said she caught up with the president at the BRICS Leadership Summit in Rio, talking about Nigeria's successful bid for this fund designed to support women in digital trade. She's very happy about it, excited that we did put up a strong argument, and it's looking pretty for us, which is good. So for women exporters, the president did try to put up a position to see how we can get the support that is required. It's a $50 million fund launched by the World Trade Organization and International Trade Center in February 2024 to empower women, entrepreneurs that is, by assisting them in growing their business through international trade and digitalization. So made a case for us. So while we're doing all of this brilliant, negotiation and lobbying on the side, Donald Trump comes out and says, they're having BRICS, yeah? We're going to put additional 10% tariff on BRICS partner countries at this point. That's what he says. Countries that align themselves with the anti-American policies of BRICS will be charged an additional 10% tariff. There will be no exception to the policy, he said. Announcement comes as the U.S. begins formal formally notifying affected countries of the tariff declared earlier this year with letters and deals set to roll out on Monday. Trump had long criticized BRICS, an economic bloc whose members include Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These were the countries that started it. The organization was designed to boost countries' international standing and challenge the US and Western Europe. The group was later expanded to include Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates in 2024. The following year, Indonesia became the first Southeast Asian member. In January, Nigeria joined Belarus, Bolivia, Cuba, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Thailand, Uganda, Uzbekistan as BRICS' ninth partner country after the alliance partner country category was created at the 16th BRICS summit in 2024. And Nigeria has since continued to push for a full membership. Now, taking office in January, Trump has announced a series of import taxes on goods from other countries, including 14% tariff on Nigeria. So Nigeria now being a partner to this bloc is saying there'll be extra 10% because their policies and their moves is anti-American. We know that they're trying to see how these countries will do more business together, maybe not de-emphasize dollar trade and use, our individual local currency and centralized one to boost business for all of them. And he's saying 10%. And I'm thinking, do we need wisdom? Because we've always wanted to be a part of BRICS. Is Donald Trump's threat even enough for us to even bat an eyelid at this point to say, so we should step away from something we thought we wanted to be a part of for an extra 10% tariff on our trade?
First and foremost, our relation with America is very pivotal to the Nigerian economy because, there's a lot of buying and selling that goes on between Nigeria and the US, particularly in the crude oil, in the oil sector. So what's the threats in quotes, which is, if you ask me, bullish in nature, he knows that it can have significant impact, especially on economies like ours that can be quite volatile. Any little shake, we know that, things can go really south very fast. However, my concern here is, what are the policies that are anti-American? I wish the President of the United States, Donald Trump, would have highlighted what part of the things that the BRICS community is trying to do is anti-American.
Everything about it. Do more trade within your country, de-emphasize the use of the dollar. Do you know means what the bloc decides? We're going to downplay the use of the dollar in our trade, in our relations. It's one of the biggest threats that can come to a country that has lived off. It means like our gold standard is using the dollar for all that international trade and transaction at this point in time. What's the biggest anti-American move you can make beyond that?
But then, if this is what is threatening him from...
Everything threatens him at this point. You cross the border, you're a threat. You sneeze too hard, you're a threat. So it just feels like at this point in time, that's what he's doing.
I think he's being paranoid. I sincerely think he's being paranoid.
If you have Iran, you have Russia, you have China, in one team, you have a right.
That is the problem.
That's like NNPC telling you, don't panic, we have enough oil. Get into panic mode.
That's the problem.
You already have some of these people.
I don't think that in Nigeria, being a member...
No, it's not isolating Nigeria. Say,
I know.
Plus BRIC, plus partner, plus people who hang out with them.
He's not saying the real thing that is doing him. So you just highlighted it.
So
because when you have, like you said, China, you have Russia, China especially. Once there's China in the conversation,
they had the arm wrestle with China, and we see how China bested the US to a certain extent. Enough for each country to decide, all right, we need each other, we need that interdependence in our trade relations. So let's ease off. At
this level, I even think that he's not like they say, the Gen Zs will say delulu. At this point, I don't think he's even getting the memo. If you actually, I would be more worried about tariff increments from certain countries like China, not even the US. Because, I know they do a lot of productions anyway, but really now, we know that when it comes to world manufacturing at the highest level, it's no longer the United States. We all know that. So
No, it's more concerned about our product that get into their markets. That's where the tariff will come into, saying that for Nigerian products to get in there, oil and others, it will come with extra tariff. Means it will increase the cost there, and some people might want to patronize someone who is more affordable.
Maybe we even need it. Maybe, just maybe. As far as crude oil is
but we're
concerned.
hanging with the cool kids like there's China, there's Russia, so who knows? What can we do with them?
Hopefully that goes on in the next 30, 50 years.
I hope so.
Because even those ones...
You want to be careful.
It's not like...
With the group you hang with.
It's not like those ones are saints either.
No, not at all.
So
I've always been one person who would tell you, just be careful what comes from China. They're doing so well. We've got a good relationship with them. But it feels like when it comes to Africa, everybody comes with an intention to take more than you think they give.
Yeah.
They take more than they give. On the surface, it might look like, oh, fantastic.
There's a
look
lot
at what
of-
they're doing for us.
yeah.
But you'd be surprised at what you're giving in exchange for that at the end of the day.
And the problem is what happened several centuries ago, where we had, the slave trade. We keep having leaders who do not necessarily are not looking out for the citizens. So many times, because of other interests, vested interests from many leaders in Africa, not just Nigeria now, across Africa, you get to have the full country serve the short end of the stick. Because somewhere in the stick, they are getting what is sticking to their pockets.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, guys, should we be careful? What kind of wisdom? Fortune. Gabriel has been talking about apply wisdom. Should we apply wisdom or we're good? I mean, continue our business and even continue to make that move to become full partners at this point in time of members of the BRICS instead of beyond partnership, in spite of the warning or the threat that is coming from. I mean, Donald has been threatening literally the whole world, from China to Europe to everyone.
He'll be fine.
So it shouldn't come as a major concern to any country if there's an extra threat on us coming from the United States. Besides, how long can he be in office for? And then somebody comes in and you never can tell how to undo some of the policies, because they are all policies per se and not legislation that would need setting, procedure to get it undone. Policy, one government will come and change everything all over again. So you never can tell. All right, people, let's open up the phone lines. And Wike said Nigeria was dead until Tinubu came. Like, he came with an oxygen tank and gave us,
It's
who killed Nigeria before Tinubu came and brought it back to life?
Wait.
Is Nigeria the walking dead? Because if it was dead and we're moving, like, are we in a zombie state? Are we like reanimated corpses or what?
Are you really analyzing the statement?
I'm not analyzing it, but if you said Nigeria was dead until Tinubu came, I'm thinking, are we like alive or walking dead? Because a good number of people you run into on the street will not tell you that they're living.
Yeah.
Like as they should. Quality of life. We're just talking about affordability for housing and a lot of things. So, I mean, it depends on if it brought back to life. Is it reanimated corpse or
in
living?
what context is it saying that we are?
We'll get to that in a bit. Let's take this phone call. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Chris here calling from Cuba.
Go ahead, Chris.
I just tuned in. I hear you say Nike, or the Nike that said Nigeria is dead, was dead. Huh?
Why did you say it as if it's a rumor you heard? Yes, if you pick up the Premium Time paper, you're going to see there where the minister, he said it during the weekend on Sunday, that the country was practically dead before President Tinubu assumed office.
My dear, the way that guy talks sometimes, it makes much to people tired. That's just the truth. And it's beginning to sound like a broken record. Some most times off point. I don't even like discussing it again. Thank you, Jerry.
All right. So while acknowledging that Nigeria still faces serious challenges, Wike said the president had taken difficult but necessary decisions that would help the country recover. He also cautioned Christian faithful against making what he described as another mistake in the choice of Nigeria's president in 2027, noting that the church nearly made a fatal error in 2023 due to sentimental attachment, and advised St. James Anglican Church in Asokoro, where he led some associates in a Thanksgiving service to God following the successful commissioning of 16 projects, or I think it was 19 days of project in the federal capital. So the success of it was something he now went for Thanksgiving, like, oh, thank you, Lord. It was successful. President showed up in a number of them.
Yeah.
And stuff. And the minister also took a swipe at the 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate, Peter Obi, describing him as the where is the academic number? Describing him as the democratic ideals opposite of the democratic ideas it claims to uphold, that the country was dead. It takes hard decision to bring it back to life. We're aware that we have challenges, but after just 2 years of a country that's been run down. Is this on Buhari? Or is it Jonathan? Because if you say it was run down like final Mortal Kombat, finished them like we were down under. And he says, we expect a miracle worker. It's not like a prayer where you say in the name of God you are healed and it happens instantly. It doesn't work that way. Let me use this opportunity to address the church. We nearly made the worst mistake in 2023. We must be very careful this time around. It would have been a decision that would have cost some of us our future. Ask us questions. We're politicians. Be careful about what we tell you. If nothing has happened, some of us wouldn't be here today. If you want to understand what's really going on, call us. Don't let people use propaganda to blackmail you. Some of you have sympathy for someone you don't even know. That's how you nearly made us make a mistake, saying Peter Obi was going to become the president, where he said. For 8 years, he was governor. He never conducted. Okay, let's not go down that rabbit hole with him. But Nigeria was dead until Tinubu brought it back to life. He took tough decisions. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello. Well, we're live on Facebook and YouTube, just so you know, at Nigeria Info Abuja, and you can call us on 0700 951 0000.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Kim, and our guest there.
Gabriel. It's my colleague.
Okay, Master Gabriel, I greet you all.
Welcome.
Hello.
Go on,
ahead,
please.
sir. Go ahead. We can hear you.
This is Godwin O. Abo, the Ogoja man in Abuja. As the case of Wike taking a swipe on politicians, I don't wish to advise them to tread carefully. They shouldn't be fighting almost everybody. You can't be a winner. You cannot. And for him to say Nigeria was totally dead before Tinubu came on board. They say the mouthpiece of the APC, because as I know him, he's a PDP member and has been hired by this regime. Why don't he work and operate by the tenets of the terms of
all right, sir.
given in?
All right, sir.
Why is he fighting, attacking everybody?
All right. Leaving a very important question there. Let's go on a very, very quick 30 seconds break.
The MTN Mega Billion promo is finally here for Monday.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
All right, let's go back to the phone line, shall we?
Hello.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Very well, thank you. What's your name?
My name is Comrade Salis on the line.
Go ahead, comrade.
Yeah, for me, I see Wike as a man that wants power by all means, and he likes to talk too much. And for me, I like Wike to talk, because Wike, when he's not talking, he's going to sick, because when he see, the voice will go down. So you need to talk more so that your voice will open very well. When he's talking, his voice has a problem. So what I like, talk too much.
All right.
Continue talking, let him continue talk so that his voice will be clear. Thank you.
All right. I don't
Not sure.
understand.
I'm not sure I understand that.
You care that much about him, or you're just being
Sarcastic.
Exactly. Kim, it doesn't start and finish with taking a day off to rest once in a while. Every individual should develop a culture of observing rest. This has become very important now that treatment is so expensive, and 50% of medicine sold in the country are fake. Where did you get this from? How can you say 50% of drugs sold in the country are fake and adulterated? You could say some of it, yes, we're struggling with that, but to say 50%, and
That's a
except
ton
you're
number.
based on certain facts coming from NAFDAC, I would not advise people to take this percentage to the bank, all right?
It's a ton number.
Yeah. Of,
It's a ton number.
yeah, in the country. Yep.
Hello.
No, good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
It's Mr. Gideon calling.
Welcome, Mr. Gideon. Go on, please.
For me, Minister Wika is like a wounded lion because number one, this coalition is a big challenge to him. His plan to frustrate PDP is no more going to work again. And at the end of the day, if the coalition group unseats him, he will remain irrelevant in the politics of Nigeria. So he's trying his best to see what he can do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Yaya the head boy says, Auntie Kim, I'm a lawyer. But for Natasha, why the rush? Has she apologized to the court, to the Senate president? She should be coming down and do the needful before committing another offense on social media. All right, let's go on a quick break.
More talk, news, and sports after this. This is not just a debate.
This is Nigeria Info.